Midnight Double Feature presents Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. On this episode, we bring you Season 2, Episode 7, Negro y Azul. Written by John Sheban and directed by Felix Alcala. Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of Bad Crystal. Today we are covering Season 2, Episode 7, Negro y Azul. I'm not going to pretend that I got that on the first go. And joining me, as always, every week here at Bad Crystal is my main man, Colin. What's happening, Colin?
Hey, what's up, dude? I'm excited. I like this episode a lot. It's cool. It's got, anything with Danny Trejo, I'm a fan of, and it's an interesting episode. I'm excited to talk about it.
Dude, anything remotely related to the cartel, to like drug lords in Mexico, Danny Trejo's got to be in it, right? I mean, like anything like very like closely related to it, get me Danny Trejo.
Yeah, that and anything. It's so weird to see him in Spy Kids. It's the same guy as Machete. And I'm like, that's so fucking strange, man.
100%. But yeah, let's not beat around the bush, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. If you want to follow us on our socials, just scroll down, check the show notes. Everything's in there, all of our details. The one thing that I will shout out, as always, is our Patreon. Please like and support the show. And the best way that you can possibly support us is to follow the Patreon page. It's only $5 a month, but the amount of content that you get for $5 is actually astounding. We are really building up our backlog. Mm-hmm. So head to patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature or head to our website, which is midnightdoublefeature.com. But look, without any further ado, Colin, let's get into this episode. Negro y Azul. What are your overall thoughts on this? Hit me just straight up straight after Peekaboo. Did this, because this gets you back into the day-to-day
right
forward momentum, right? Like Peekaboo is kind of like a let's pause for a sec.
It's a side quest.
100%. It's a side quest. And like, that's not taking anything away from Peekaboo.
No.
I think Peekaboo is like one of the best. It's like a Cyberpunk level side quest where it's just like, fuck, man,
right.
You are leading me down a goddamn rabbit hole, hole within a rabbit hole. But this is, back to form where we are getting progression, like actual character progression on Hank and Skyler's part especially. But also, we see how Jesse deals with issues and deals with problems, and Walt is further manipulating his, or I guess clamping down his grasp on Jesse. Mm-hmm. But give me your thoughts on this.
I like this episode a lot. Like I said, after Peekaboo, Peekaboo was kind of this interesting, let's go get the Axe of White run before, we go deal with like the dragons and whatever and stuff, like a Skyrim quest. But what was interesting about it though is like, it's one of the few times that the small world has now gotten much bigger. Where like now we're introduced to the cartel. Well, we're going outside of New Mexico, like they're in El Paso. Like that's the first time you really kind of see them outside of where all of this has really started. It's definitely an episode of like growth because you see the three guys underneath Jesse. I know it's Badger, and then I can't remember the other guy's names, like Skinny Pete or something else. I don't know.
Yeah, so Badger is the one with the husky voice.
Right.
Skinny Pete is obviously Skinny Pete, and Combo is the other gentleman.
That's right. But yeah, where you see it, the expansion behind that, where, like you said, the day-to-day operation, but you're also expanding that day-to-day operation. There's something interesting about that now that it's interesting, even morally or philosophically or however way you want to put it, that you look at Walt and like, you are making enough money to pay for cancer treatments. This is great. And it's like this goes beyond, what you, in a time where the person who was your mysterious benefactor has now dropped out of your cancer treatments. That might be cause enough for you to go, I should stop this now because, blah, blah, blah. Like, but he actually it reminds me of Ray Liotta and Goodfellas, where it's like when everybody else is chilling out and he's amping it up, like bringing around guns in a brown bag and high on coke and getting followed by helicopters. Like he is escalating when really he should probably just be.
Don't forget to stir the sauce, right? Don't let the sauce sit. Yeah.
And he's not stirring the sauce. He's stirring the pot, but he's not stirring the sauce. So there's something interesting to me about that, where it just seems a bit of. This is like a greedy kind of side of Walt, I feel like. And at the same time, somebody who it feels like obviously has not really like learned from their lessons with Tuco and stuff. They're like, well, now we'll just expand beyond that. And it's like you learned in a way of, we're going to change our business model, but you really didn't learn in a way of like, but these are the people you deal with like day to day. Like there are more Tucos out there, and there's not saying everybody who's in the cartel is a complete sociopath, but it's like, dude, come on, like you're being naive. So I think this episode in particular is also that same way for Hank, where Hank has been like this like big cop in a small town, and now he's the outside dude who doesn't have all the skills as the other guys and stuff like that, and he's even kind of feeling out of place. But all in all, it's a really interesting episode again for everybody but Walt Jr. And Marie. Same thing as last episode. I think everybody kind of had these moments except for Walt Jr. and Marie. But all in all, I like the episode a lot. I think it's interesting just what they've done with the main centerpiece of Walt and Aaron. I keep wanting to say Aaron. Walt and Jesse and Hank, but also at the same time, like outside that centerpiece, you've got Jessica Jones. I don't know what her name is. She's Jessica Jones.
Kristen Ritter. Oh, yeah. Jane. In the character's name is Jane.
There you go, Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones and Skyler and her boss, and then it's kind of this ring that it feels like an arc reactor. There's like core, and then it spreads out. So it's interesting seeing it in that way, like the ripples in a pond. But all in all, yeah, it's very interesting, to me, of when I was like, man, I would be cooling my fucking jets right now. But instead they are like, all right, we prepping for takeoff again. It's like, no, and we're going to shoot. We're not even going for the moon. We're going for Mars now. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
now, when you say they, it's really just Walt, because
that's true.
Jesse is retreating. He's witnessed this act of violence, and he's just like, man, I just want to chill here with my bong and just fucking lie down, dude. Like, just leave me alone. Like, he actually says, just leave me be. Like, leave me be. And Walt's just like, okay, sorry, I'll let you deal with it. And then, like, at the end, he starts, like, getting back into it. But it's not without Walt's coaxing. And,
he's got the carrot for the donkey. Right. No, you're totally. Exactly right. You're exactly right.
I know I'm right, because I'm me.
Because I've seen the show 5 times. Fuck you.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna 100% echo your thoughts. The only thing that I do want to mention as well that I think that you didn't mention is because we've already established that throughout Breaking Bad, whenever Walt is in the classroom, whatever he's talking about in that classroom ties directly into what's happening. So here he's talking about the importance of bonds and chemical bonds and covalent bonds. This episode in particular is about bonds, in my opinion. I mean, like, I don't know if I'm stretching here, but you've got Walt and Skyler is actually really trying to distance herself, or she's taking steps to I guess, move towards Beneke, this guy that has made a move on her, has made a pass on her, but she's just like, oh, fuck it, whatever, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna go back to it. Like, this is a sign of their, I guess, failing relationship, failing marriage, whatever, that she's actually okay to put up with this. Like, like Skyler can take a data entry job anywhere. Like, I don't think that she needs to take it at Beneke. Like, I think
she is a woman and she will do as she's told. The most important. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not Jerry Falwell. It is interesting. It's the same thing, kind of like you said with Walt, of like, you have an out and it just doesn't have to be here. Like, there's other options on the table, I see your point.
But then also you've got bonds being made as well in Jesse and Jane as well, right? I mean, like, which is also, in my opinion, a really sweet moment at the end. I mean, like, we'll get to it, but yes. Like, I've like found love, and well, I'm not going to say love yet. I've found like a companion in this kind of like fallout of like the shit that I'm living in right now. Like that whole Fight Club vibe for sure. And she really, it's funny that you said Fight Club because she really, really reminds me of what's her name? Marla Singer.
Oh, yeah. Like
It's just
gothic, smoking cigarette. Oh, so hot. So hot.
Yes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's very Fight Club. And it's actually one of the only like real hint of any kind of like meet cute rom-com, in this thing so far. I think that's really interesting to note as well.
Yeah, totally, dude. 100%. But yeah, man, like that's pretty much it as far as opening thoughts goes. I really, really enjoyed this episode. What do you say we get right into it?
Let's do it.
So we begin with this really wacky and somewhat disarming cold open, right? Like this band, I'm going to fuck up the name, Los Cuates de Sinaloa, performing a song called Negro y Azul, which, as you said last week to me, means black and blue, which is about how a gringo boss named Heisenberg is disrespecting the Mexican drug cartel by cornering the Albuquerque market with high-quality blue crystal methamphetamine. So, honestly, dude, I'm just going to... Like, what did you think of this? Like, this is so out of the blue and out of left field.
Yeah, it was very random, but as I'm watching, I'm like, what the fuck? But I still... It didn't kind of derail me at all. If anything, after about 30 seconds, I was really into it. And I was like, man, this is cool. This is kind of like... It's like real meta, like folklore about your own like character. Now he's becoming, and it's kind of, it reminds me of like, when you'd watch like, you'd see like old like plays and movies where they're, in a movie, this would not be good. This is like the beginning of Spawn. We're like Spawn, Hellfire, Satan, and that guy is like narrating at the beginning. But there's something about this that feels like old vaudevillian, like our hero, the man of 1,000 faces. But it has this kind of weird, like old feeling to me of just like a Greek chorus, maybe. Like maybe that's what I'm trying to think of, but I'm probably using the wrong term there. But there's something about that where it's like. I think it also shows like, yeah, we're in New Mexico, but to have this, I don't want to call them a mariachi band. I don't know if even that's the correct term. Just this band playing. It also shows like someone speaking in a foreign language, and that outside of New Mexico, word has spread of Heisenberg. Now this is an international character. That's really interesting when you think about, it's only New Mexico, and it's like, dude, New Mexico is really close to a lot of shit down there. That's. People think they're so far removed for it, but it's really only a hop and a skip, down the way. So I think that's what's really interesting to me about it is it feels like an international chorus of just like, oh, dude, look, I mean, this is going on in your backyard, but it feels like it's miles away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talk about, like when we talk about Breaking Bad all the time, and we talk about how there's barely any wasted scenes, right? Like, I mean, the first time you're watching this, you can like totally take this as like some kind of like, wacky cold open, but like honestly, like you said, once you start getting into it, there is a huge element of storytelling here. I mean, like just the very fact that they're singing this and what they're saying, what they're singing, like it indicates to us that Heisenberg is becoming more and more prestigious and renowned, and so much so that he's drawing comparisons to the cartels and himself, which is not good. Like there's a line in there, the fury of the cartel ain't nobody escaped it yet. Like, it's got this air of like, well done, Heisenberg, but it's not going to end well for you. Like the way it ends.
Right.
And like, look, I like the slap bang style of the music video as well. I like the way it's shot. I'm going to refer to our good old book of Breaking Bad here that I sometimes refer to. So, the song Negro y Azul is an example of a type of music known as, quote, and I'm going to butcher this, narco corrido, which translates into drug ballad. The band singing Negro y Azul, Los Cuartos de Sinaloa, take their name from the Mexican state of Sinaloa, the narrow strip of land in northwest Mexico that is home to the notorious Sinaloa cartel, as well as being the hideout of Jesus Malverde. According to the band manager Jose Juan Segura, a corrido is a real-life story set to music. While some corridos deal with migration or smuggling, narco corridos tell the story of the drug trade. Often, actual events, dates, places, and people are woven into the lyrics of the songs, and singer Gabriel Baraleza has called narco corridos, quote, the nightly news set to music.
Shit.
So, yeah, apparently these things date back to the 1930s. Some critics equate narco corridos to gangster rap, claiming the lyrics of the corridos celebrate if they do not actually glorify the drug trade and those involved in it. So, yeah, there you go. Pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe that's what gave me that old-timey feel of like, it's like something you turn on the radio and hear like, oh, the legend of like Robin Hood,
right,
you know?
Right,
that's what it feels like.
And it's like, it's kind of like, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, thank you for joining us here at 6 p.m. news. Like, here's the here's the lowdown, you know? Yeah, it was a really good opening, man. Like, I really enjoyed it. And this, like, stuck in my mind. Like, I was like, oh, okay, it's this episode that has this opening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for sure. And then we get the title card. Walt is teaching this kid about bonds, the coming together of atoms and molecules to form compounds. Chemical bonds are what make matter matter. He says there is no close in science. There are right answers and wrong answers, of course. We already know Walt's attitude towards learning. It's very traditional. Like, it's very, you can't, like, you know, if you study, you'll get it right. Like, you know, like if you get distracted, 100%. It's the same stance that he takes with Jesse. We've seen this before. This kid begs Walt to let this slide, saying that he studied all night. And I love that. We think Walt's going to relent for a second. He's just like,
right.
Until he just spits out, don't bullshit a bullshitter. Next time, apply yourself.
Dude,
God damn.
I know. I was like, dude, that's like, and there's something. Let me ask you a question. Do you think pre-Heisenberg Walt would pass this kid? Pre-cancer, pre-Heisenberg, pre-everything?
I don't think so. I think this whole kind of like part of Walt, because like it's also, if we look at that episode where Jesse goes home and he finds his test score and on the thing it says apply yourself. Like, you know, it kind of reminds me of that. Like, I feel like he's always been this way in terms of education, in terms of teaching. He's always kind of been this way. I don't think that he would have said it to his face. I actually think he would have said...
That's a good point.
I actually think he would have said something like, let me think about it. All right. And then like maybe he would have like failed him later or some shit like that. But
right.
I think this whole Heisenberg, you know, drug trade, new Walt, I think this is all like that gives him the confidence to say no to his face.
Right. Anything. No. Yeah. 100%. I think that does he still do it? No, but he's not. I guess he doesn't feel like he's being a coward about it. You know, he's saying it right to this guy. And then unless he got in the kid's face and shit in his mouth with the worst way that he could possibly tell him. No, right. You know, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. You know, the kid is bullshit. I'm like, I get it. But he's also being kind of nice about it, too. He's like, listen, I tried real hard, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, God damn, like the kid's level of bullshit does not deserve this reaction, you know?
No, it's pretty savage. It's pretty savage.
No, it is. And I'm going to be honest. I'm getting a little tired of these like openings where it's like a Walt going, and science is made up of the word psi. And it's like, okay, dude, I fucking get it. This will have something to do with the episode later on. It's played out and it's a little tiresome. And it's one of my only critiques of the show. And it's never anything super advanced. And I get it. It's high school chemistry. It's not going to be, you know, you're not breaking down the atom, but it does hit something where I'm like, okay, these are like, is this remedial chemistry? Like, it's like these kids are really, and it's funny. I never took chemistry. I've never taken a chemistry class in my life. Have you ever taken a chemistry class?
Yeah, I used to do chemistry in 11th grade and I dropped it in 12th grade because I fucking hated it, dude. It was the worst.
See, I did psychology.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I did, dude. I did like, I basically did like all of the science shit and I was like terrible at them. I don't know why I did them. I think it's because like I heard if you did well in the science ones, your grade automatically goes up.
Oh,
so I did biology, physics, and chemistry. Physics was my favorite, dude. Physics was incredible. Like I loved learning about physics, but yeah, like chemistry was just straight up boring. So yeah, no, I do know what you mean though. Like structurally, we're starting to see some repetition, right? Like you know, like we're getting Walt in these classrooms telling us about what the episode or the show is going to be about, and then it happens, and it's just like, oh, I'm kind of over this a little bit. I from memory. This is not a spoiler. From memory, I think this is one of the final ones. Like, we don't get this all throughout the show or anything like that. Yeah, like, they eventually start petering off him, like, eventually. So, the kid leaves. Walt turns the light off and retrieves this phone from the ceiling. Have you noticed, like, how much more careful he is about the second phone now? Like, this
yeah, absolutely.
He's not just carrying it around. calls Jesse and leaves a message. Also, I really love that, Walt does not want Jesse to call him, right? Like, as soon as Jesse calls him, it's like, what the fuck do you want? But he really expects Jesse to be at his beck and call, right?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, he thinks Jesse's ducking him here, right? Like, he's like, I know you're dodging my calls. Also tells Jesse to let it go when he told him to handle the situation we, of course, already saw in the last episode, Peekaboo. What do you think about this? What do you think about Walt? Because this is something that happens quite often with Walt. It's him mentioning something. It's him saying to Jesse, handle it. But then he thinks on it later and he's just like, nah, don't worry about it. I changed my mind. Like, it's kind of like, maybe he reacts in the moment a lot. Like, this is something that happens happens to Walt throughout the entire show. I'm even talking to it in season 5. Like, he reacts to things very on the fly and very aggressively. And more often than not, he ends up regretting those decisions.
Yeah, he's very wishy-washy, He's very, I don't know. It almost wouldn't surprise me if you were like, Walter White is like mildly bipolar. I'd be like, okay, like, I see that. Like, he is, no matter what he's doing, though, he could be going, southeast on the highway. And then if he's got to turn and go, northwest through the woods, he's going to go the same amount of speed. Like, he no matter what he's doing, he goes the same. He just punches it the whole time. And there's very little, moments where even when he's being smart and even when he's kind of like slowing down, it's only for a moment of like, to think about how I can achieve a goal faster, like there's something about that with Walt's mentality, like when he went in with the magic crystal meth and threw it on the ground and blew everybody up and shit, whatever the fuck he had. I can't remember the name of it. But when he threw that down, like, yeah, there's a moment of Walt being like, okay, let's stop, let's think. And he comes up with a clever idea, but it's also to do something kind of like crazy. So it's like, he doesn't really pause for a second and think about being proactive versus reactive. And when he does react, it's usually an overreaction. Extreme. Right. Yeah,
absolutely. 100%. Walt goes to Jesse's place where he's met by Jane. He wants to get inside, asks her for the master key.
I fucking want to get inside too. Goddamn.
Kristen Ritter.
Jesus Christ. That Ed Hardy shirt. Oh,
dude, she is. There's something about the goth look. I think we talked about this, but like, especially in like Jessica Jones, where I'm just like, you are incredibly attractive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, yeah, there's something just kind of like, she's got MySpace written all over her. I don't know what it is. There's just something about that. Like, that girl looks like she can write a MySpace code.
Yeah. But also, she also looks like she beats up people who are on MySpace. Like, yeah, she's... Right. But she's quite clearly not impressed by Walt, right? And like, in this show, I think first impressions are kind of everything. So, she's like, Walt tries to, she's like, and you knocked, right? He didn't answer, which means
he didn't answer.
Yeah, I don't know. This first meeting is really, really great to me. I guess because I know what's coming or what's about to happen. But like, she is not impressed, and she is not going to let Walt manipulate her. Like, he is. This is not Jesse. Like, she is a much, much stronger version of Jesse, and Walt tries his like manipulation game with her, and it's just like, no, I'm not taking any of your bullshit. Sorry.
Right.
Like, Walt pretends to be Jesse's father so he can check on his son's well-being. She stands her ground, but Jesse eventually emerges and opens the door for Walt. Immediately, dude, when Walt gets inside, he's just condescending to Jesse. Like, he says, Jesse Jackson, do you even? And then he just calls him a damn druggy idiot. Like, this is Walt being Walt. Jesse says he's taking care of business that Walt put him on. Walt's freaking out because he believes Jesse went too far and killed someone. Jesse gives Walt his half of the money, and he says, spend it in good health, you miserable son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, that's hilarious, too, is the fact that Walt's like, oh, my God, you killed somebody. I can't. And he throws in the cash. He's like, thank you. Like, he goes from, like, Ned Flanders to Mr. Burns as soon as that movie comes out. He's like, ah! Like when you bring out the ring in front of Bilbo, and he's like that weird face pops out. Yeah, like immediately he picks up the cash, doesn't say anything about it. And I'm like, dude, that's blood money. Like, you had a problem strangling Crazy 8 in a basement, but Somebody throws $4,600 at you and you're like, fuck yeah. That's crazy.
Right. It's because somebody else killed someone, right? Like, not Walt. So it's not on him.
Yeah.
100%. Walt checks the chamber. All bullets are accounted for, and Jesse admits that Spooge's wife crushed his head with an ATM machine. And yeah, like, you can tell that this is still getting to Jesse, man. Like, he says, the sounds, it's still in my ears. He's still messed up about the kid. And when Jesse admits that she had his gun on him, Walt seems... What do you reckon about Walt's reaction here to hearing that she took Jesse's gun and held him at gunpoint? Because he seems disappointed. Like, he seems a little... Like, he's got something on his face. I can't read it eventually, actually.
Well, yeah, and there's something interesting about that where we see the same thing with Walt with Crazy 8 in the first season, where he drops that plate and gives Crazy 8 a weapon. And it's like, man, you literally, your situations were almost like identical, where it's like, there was a hostage situation and a meth house, somebody got a weapon and somebody got killed, and it wasn't, nobody was shot, nobody was stabbed. They're all creative, kind of crazy kills. So yeah, there's something funny to me about, like, I think that Walt may have like
he's rationalizing it.
Do what?
No, like, you think he's like rationalizing it. So like, if she had the gun, then it's okay for Jesse to kill someone because it was in self-defense.
I don't know about that. I think that it's more so Walt is almost having like where he's killed somebody before and he's actually had to get his hands dirty. That I feel like he's almost like he straight up murdered somebody, and Jesse was just kind of there to watch somebody. Where Jesse watched an incident that would have happened probably another 2 weeks, and I think that there's something about that Walt's just kind of like disgusted with, in a way of just like, dude, you didn't even kill anybody.
Okay.
And it's like, and the main thing that gets me is that Walt, this is a guy who went and fucked up Tuco, because they beat the shit out of Jesse, and Walt has no, are you okay? Like, are you all right? Like, there's no concern for Jesse at all. It actually makes me think of Infinity War when I can't remember who, the big guy with the swinging chain that they cut his arm off in the circle and he lands in like Antarctica.
Oh yeah, Corvus Glaive or some shit.
Yeah,
that big guy.
One of the guys smacks him back to Ebony Maw, and Ebony Maw just kind of shwoos him out of the way, and he lets Corvus Glaive just fall, and it's like, dude, you could have grabbed him. It's like in the beginning of the Battle of New York. So there's something about that with Walt that's kind of like, fuck it, just a hand wave, like, yeah, you're fine, shake it off. There's something about that it's very callous, but at the end it kind of comes out a little bit where he's like, yeah, you know what, I'll handle this shit. Like, you take a break for a minute, like, I'll handle this. But yeah, there's just something about that that's almost like a look of disgust on his face. I just, that Jesse is supposed to be the streetwise, gangbanger, and that Walt is the one who's like, I would have never let somebody get my gun. Like, there's some kind of superiority complex in there. I don't know.
So that actually reminded me. Let me read you the definition of the word sociopath.
Oh, okay. There we go.
A sociopath is a term used to describe someone who has an antisocial personality disorder. People with ASPD can't understand others' feelings. They'll often break rules or make impulsive decisions without feeling guilty for the harm they cause.
That's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting. That sound like the dude. Yeah, well, again, it's also... it's literally just storming through a house with no worry about collateral damage. That's kind of what it comes down to me, is just no fucks given.
Right. You're like the goddamn rhino, just fucking barging right through. Exactly.
Right.
We cut over to Hank. He's successfully moved over to El Paso, but he's having some trouble fitting in. They don't get his sense of humor. This guy quotes Sun Tzu and the Art of War to him, and Hank's just like, right on. He's just like, right on. Like, this is, he's out of his element here, right? Like, not just in terms of the people they're hunting, like the cartel, but the people that he's working with as well. And that's something that I don't think Hank ever envisioned, like, he's just like, he was worried about the kinds of dangers they'd face down there, but he had no idea that he wouldn't fit in.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there's something about that too, where it's, we have never, like, Hank's first day, never seen anything in New Mexico that was like this. Hank, how, I don't know if it ever says officially how long Hank has been a cop, and Hank has been doing this with the DEA. Maybe you know that. I have no idea. Probably a decade or two, he's been doing this. So just in what we've heard, he's had to take on some crazy shit, and he's had to, shoot some people. But what he experiences in his first day, this is just a fucking Monday for these people. And I think that it's like, you're a goddamn tourist, dude, and you need to take this big cop in a small town shit. You want to be a big cop in a small village? Fuck off the Model Village then. It's like, oh, that's so good. But
you want to start with Aaron A. Aronson, do you?
What's your name? Aaron A. Aronson. Little Hot Fuzz reference. But no, there's something where he's kind of, again, he is a small fish in a big pond now, where these guys have seen, literally when we bump into Danny Trejo, they literally like, have you ever seen that before? And nobody's fazed by it, but Hank. So I think there's something about he's not the fastest gun in the West anymore,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that, and also just like him not even like understanding Spanish, so like he laughs too loud at this joke, but he's just like ah, like he's trying to fit in. He's desperately trying to fit in, dude. Ugh, it's rough. Walt meets with Jesse's posse in this museum, and he just straight up just enters, "I'm Heisenberg."
Oh, Jesus. I figured out a couple things. That there's a group of actors who could play certain characters that I love. Obviously, I think he would be a great Stan Lee. I think he would be a really good Alex Trebek. I'd love to see Bryan Cranston do Alex Trebek. But at the same time, I would love to see Bryan Cranston or Alex Trebek play Andrew Ryan from BioShock.
Yes.
And I was like, the more I thought about Alex Trebek walking about what makes a man a man, and I was like, dude, that's all I could think of was Alex Trebek as Andrew Ryan. So, but there is something also in maybe it's just the mustache, and sometimes people can get lazy with those castings and just, somebody's got dreadlocks. Oh, he's, Bishop from the X-Men, it's stupid lazy. But there's just something about, I was like, man, Alex Trebek is Andrew Ryan in another world. I'd love to hear that. But walking up, I love the voice Heim Heisenberg, but it's like, dude, you lack any being inconspicuous at all when you walk in looking like you're part of a like reggae ska British duo, and it's like there's just something about that. I'm like, you got to be subtle, man. Like you stand out more than these three guys because they look like they blend in with the times.
Yeah, no, he walks in there with the fucking shades indoors, right? I mean, like, what are you doing? Like,
cataracts?
Skinny Pete says it's all there if you want to count it, and this gives Walt an indication of how stupid or gullible they are, because then they also ask about whether Jesse killed Spooge with the ATM. Apparently this story is all over town, and I just love Badger. He's just like, but did he really do it? Like he's actually genuinely mortified. And I love Walt going along with it. Okay, now that initially you can take that as Walt is wanting to protect kind of like Jesse's reputation, but if you take this hand in hand with the next scene, this is actually Walt using this reputation to his own benefit.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, there's no other reason for him not to speak up and say exactly what happened, because he knows that just as easily as the spread that he did it will spread it. Oh no, he's a bitch. It's okay. Like that'll spread but that's also, you can also think that in a way that ensures that Skinny Pete and Combo and Badger are never put in a situation like that ever again, because they know, hey, that guy's riding with Pinkman. Like, don't fuck with that guy. So there's something that kind of inherently it's kind of protecting them at the same time. It's like it's like a blessing of death. I don't know. It's kind of strange, but the best part about the scene is when walks out and he's got that little smirk on his face. That's my fucking favorite, dude. I love it.
The smile. It's fantastic.
Oh, you fucking slimy cocksucker, dude. I love it.
Skyler's applying for a position at one of her previous job, this company called Beneke. She goes over to speak to Ted Beneke, whose first words are, "Skyler, my God, look at you." Like, I mean, this is immediately, I mean, look, he may be talking about the pregnancy here, but we for sure know that this is more. They have this friendly chit chat. We find out that this is his dad's office and company, and she didn't just stop by to say hello. She says that she applied for this data entry job. Beneke says that data entry would be a mistake and offers her old job as bookkeeper, which she accepts.
I really wanted him to be like, do they ever say his secretary's name, the one who's kind of being a bitch, you know?
No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe later. In a later episode.
Say her name's Becky. I'd love you like, oh no, that'd be a terrible waste of your skills. Becky, get in here. You're fired. It's like, you start on Monday, Skyler. He just starts laughing.
Skyler's just like, I don't even want the fucking secretary job.
Right.
Like,
I don't even want it. No, I get that woman's got a job. She don't know who the fuck Skyler is, but there is just something about like, if condescension were flammable, you couldn't light a match up within a mile of this place. You know, it's gee, especially to a pregnant lady. You fucking dick. Like, come on, man, that's ridiculous.
What'd you think of Ted?
I think he would be a great father to Walt Jr. No, I mean, kind
surrogate
of
father.
I mean, yeah, no, there is something about him that does seem I'm getting a wolf in sheep's clothing vibe, though. You know, it's like right off the rip. I think he is too likable. You know, he's got the bright, you know, hey, how you doing? It's so good to see you. And, you know, he's got the nice clothes in the office, and he's got the, you know, silver fox haircut, and just, no, I'm just kidding. No, but there is something about him that's almost too likable. And I feel like they're setting something up for like, oh, he's like the East Area rapist or something. You know, I don't know. I feel like something's going to come out of the woodworks, and just, I don't trust people that are, Lewis Black said that in Man of the Year with Robin Williams. He's like, they're introducing the political candidates, and it's this senator who's smiling. He's like, this guy's fucking smiling so much, it's starting to upset me. And it's like, yes, that's exactly how I feel when somebody's like too nice, you know?
That's interesting that you say that. Or is he being nice and him being very attentive to Skylar exactly what she needs right now and what she's craving? That's missing from Walt. Interesting.
Well, excuse me, Miss Independent over here. Miss Independent. No,
Miss Independent.
No, I can.
That's why I love her.
No, I think it's definitely an interesting point. You know, people often go out to seek the things that they can't find in their own home. That's why you see a lot of, you know, extramarital stuff and shit like that, unfortunately. But I think that. Yeah, it's probably. I think that that's definitely part of it, but at the same time, you know, I'm curious as to how far, because we saw this guy in season 1. I think he was briefly there, and I was like, wait, I remember this guy.
So it was the first episode of this season, where she's like, you see a photo frame of him, and you specifically asked me, you're like, who's that? Is that like a formal fling? And I was like, hold up, we're gonna find out. Okay,
gotcha. Yeah, well, I mean, with there being history and, you know, albeit very inappropriate history, you know, that's still, I don't know, maybe that's why I get the wolf in sheep's clothing thing, because I don't really think he cares. I would not be surprised if they're like a bookkeeping, like we have way too many bookkeepers as it is, and he just wants her an opportunity to kind of re-engage. It wouldn't surprise me either, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's more than what meets the eye for both of these guys. I think with Skylar, I don't think Skylar's like really, she's not wanting to cheat on Walt, but I think she absolutely is leaning into this guy's probably going to give me some attention that I actually kind of need right now, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, Ted, he later mentions his divorce, right? Like that he split up with his wife. Like this is, it probably goes either way, to be honest. So,
right. Yeah. Well, also, you know, and attention, but also I feel like more so than that, just validation as like a person. Like I'm not I'm not just something to be ignored. I'm not just something to be lied to. You know, attention, I think, is part of that. But, you know, when I think like I need attention, like, you know, you think of like a high school girl, and it's like, no, this woman's being like lied to and ignored. You know, like that's right. I feel like that's worth like it's definitely attention can definitely be part of it. But I think that there's something deeper, I feel like, in those as well.
Yeah. Walt speaks to Jesse about territory. They're surrounded by golden opportunities. They lack initiative. And he wants Jesse to triple growth, right? Like he says, Badger, Combo, and Skinny Pete should all have 3 guys beneath them. And it's just like, God damn, dude. All right, fine. Like, this is insanely stupid and insanely ambitious, right? Like, Jesse says that these aren't territories and other crews won't be happy. Mm-hmm. Like, Walt just straight up responds with, they won't like it, sure, but they won't do shit about it given Jesse's new reputation as this big killer. And that is so shallow. That is such a shallow way to look at it, because Jesse, for all they know, and they don't even know this because it's still a rumor, for all the other crews know, Jesse's only killed one person.
Yeah.
And, like, that is not...
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, do you know what I'm getting at here?
Exactly on the same page where I was like, I just imagine like somebody like Benicio del Toro or Danny Trejo, and they'd be like, man, that guy Jesse Pinkman, he killed a guy once, and watching them be like, okay, like, I did that like last Tuesday, you know, and it's like, there's something so
I killed
ridiculous.
a guy before breakfast.
Right, yeah. They're like, I killed a guy and ate a bowl of kicks off his back. You know, just like something crazy where it's like, I don't understand why that you think, you know, if they had been like, listen, he skinned a whole family alive and turned him into a human centipede and then inflated him like a Macy's, you know, Thanksgiving Day parade float, I'd be like, okay, now that's fucking crazy. You know, like just killing a guy. Like, dude, like I said, that's a Monday for these people. That's a stroll in the park.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And like, honestly, it really tells you just how ignorant Walt is to this entire world, right? Like, he is totally unfamiliar with the nuances of all this. And this isn't even nuanced, dude. This is just straight up like common sense. Like, this is just straight up like something that you should know that this won't hold up, right? I mean, like, if you take this piece of evidence to court and we're like, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going to acquit my client. This doesn't stand up for shit. This is nothing. No. This is so shallow. And then, like, Walt gets into this whole blowfish thing, right? You are a blowfish, small in stature, not swift, not cunning, easy prey for predators. Dude, like, he starts off with 3 negatives, and I'm just like, Jesse, are you gonna say, like, where are the positives? But the blowfish has a secret weapon. What does the blowfish do? And I just love, like, Jesse's, like, unable to even, like, he's like, dude, I have no idea where this analogy is going.
Well, it made me think of Seinfeld when Kramer's trying to guess George's PIN code. He's like, well, what kind of man are you? You short, fat, selfish.
Yeah. I love it. But I love how Jesse's just like, nobody messes with the blowfish. And he's just like, I'm blowfishing this up. And he grabs the bong again.
Yes. I can, man, just imagine being on a football team, be like the Tigers versus the blowfish. Like, okay.
Yeah, what a weird animal to choose on Walt's part. But okay, fine. So we cut over to Marie and Skyler. Marie says that Hank's doing well down there, some big operation. Now, she's either trying to inflate the truth or Hank's lying to her. And I'm going to guess that it's the first one. Because, like, she is like, you know, she's telling Skyler all about Hank and how he's going. And that he's working this big hush-hush operation, and he's doing well down there. That's the words, doing well down there. And I can't imagine Hank calling her up and saying, yeah, look, everything's going well, blah, blah. I actually think that he might have, like, you know, been like, I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it here. Because, like, we've seen him be soft around Marie, right? We've seen him tell the truth around Marie. I just think Marie has this tendency to inflate her life, like to inflate and exaggerate and, you know, be like to tell Skyler he's doing very well down there. Like, you know, like he's fine.
I would, if I had to guess, I would actually say it's probably Hank lying, but that's strictly because I feel like in a couple of weeks of dealing with this and the way that, you know, he's being treated currently and fitting in, like, I feel like eventually he would say something, or it would start to, like, subconsciously manifest, you know, something, you know, he would start sleepwalking or some crazy shit. I don't know. But, yeah, there's something about that where I'm like, I feel like it's probably him trying to just act like it's, well, you know, I'm new here and I'm the new guy, blah, blah, blah. So I would say I'll go the opposite way on that. But honestly, either way wouldn't surprise me.
It could even be a combination of both, to be honest.
Right, yeah, 100%.
Scarlett tells her about the job. She asks, is Mr. Grubby Hand still there? Right? I mean, like, this is obviously cementing the notion that we've all guessed, right? That something happened previously between Ted and Skyler. Money is that tight, according to Skyler. Walt comes home and leaves to cough his lungs up while Skyler is mid-sentence. Now, this is... this is kind of leading into the conversation between Walt and Skyler the next morning, which, you know, if you're Walt and you are going out to provide for your family and you are going out to commit illegal activities to to provide for your family, and now your wife has taken a legitimate job. How do you feel? Like, you know, like, do you think he's got a little bit of this, like, I can't tell her about it? Like, you know, I wish I could tell her about it, but he can't.
Yeah, I think so, but I maybe it's just because I put myself in Walt's shoes and I'm like, you know, that sucks and I wouldn't like that. But at the same time, it's like now her not being home all the time, she doesn't have constant track of my movements. Like that actually gives me time to kind of like move around and do some shit if I need to. But I do feel like his first thought is that of like, man, you know, if only I could just tell her, hey, by the way, I'm doing meth, you know, blah, blah, and that'd be it. But I also feel like there's that Heisenberg part of Walt that goes, well, now she's out of the fucking house, you know. And like I feel like there's something devious in there as well.
Right? Yeah. No, that's actually a good point. I didn't consider that. This is Raisin Bran, not Raisin Bran Crunch. Is that? It's not that hard, Mum. I'm watching this scene, and all I can think of is you, Colin.
Don't talk to me, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. Did she know how he was going to turn out at some point in the trimester? Could she have done anything? No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean that he's handicapped. I mean that he's a fucking asshole. Like, dude, are you like, I don't care. I would kick. Somebody said that to me. I would kick his crutches out from under him, you fucking dick. And I was just not. There, if I had said that to my parents, I went bald from my parents pulling my hair so much. The big hair pullers, they grab you and just pull you out. There's a famous home video of my brother doing something stupid. My dad's trying to film and he's jumping in
a famous home video.
Oh, famous in our family of my dad filming something and my brother keeps jumping and you see this head just coming into like the, you know, right at the corner, and this hand just reaches in and pulls him by the hair out of the frame. It's a goddamn. And I always joke about that's why I went bald, because our parents pulled our hair so much. But yeah, no, there's just something about that. I'm like, I would have pulled that. What the fuck did you say to me? Like, what a fucking, like, that is some first world fucking problems, my friend. Like, that is unbelievable. Like, I mean, he's in high school though, you know, but like, dude, I would never look at my parents and be like, it's not that stupid, not that hard, you stupid fuck. You know, it's like, what the, you jerk.
Right. Like this is what's at stake when Walt goes and cooks meth. Like, I mean,
yeah. Or your dad's dying of cancer, your mom's going back to work, and you're like, I want my Raisin Bran Crunch. I'm like, you fucking dick. And don't get me wrong, I love Raisin Bran Crunch a lot better than the regular Raisin Bran, but I'm not an asshole about it.
Oh God, and I even love Walt here. Right? Is there a funeral today?
Walt Jr. will become my Marie of season 1. That's what's going to happen here. Baby. He keeps this up.
Oh, baby. That's a big call. Like to replace Marie. That's a huge call. And like I said, she tells him about the job. He's not particularly impressed that Beneke, the son, is running the business. And then we cut over to Jesse and Jane. Turns out that she's a great illustrator. She worked part-time down at the tattoo parlor. And this dude on the Harley shows up. Hey, man, you're Pinkman. Right? I mean, like, this ruins Jesse's cover. And this is kind of like the tragedy of Jesse. As the show goes on, we'll see that as much as he takes, you know, he takes positive steps to actually step away from what he's doing or tries to distance himself, but coincidences or, quote, fate just pulls him back in. Like, you know, like, it's just like, dude, you cannot step away as easy as you think, you know?
Right. Well, yeah, there's something. And at first I thought this biker was going to pull up and be like, show me your tits. Like, just say something crazy. And because that's kind of, I was like, oh, is this like when he first pulled up? I was like, oh, it's just like, oh my God, what is her name? I keep wanting to call her Jessica Jones. I cannot remember her fucking name. Jane. Thank you, God. There's something about that I was like, oh, this is going to end up being like her love interest and it's going to be kind of weird and blah, blah, blah. But when he pulled up and it was just a guy on the street who knew who he was, like there's also something. There's something interesting about that, but it almost seems kind of like bullshit that this guy in this big city would just pull up and see you on the street and I'm like, oh, hey, that's Pinkman. You know, to know you by your last name seems a little far fetched, but it also shows you, you know, how long has this been going on? You know, how long have they been doing this? And now Tuco's dead, and now this ATM, you know, Mr. Sagi or whatever his name was, is dead. So there's something kind of crazy about that, where it's like, is this is it just a little far-fetched to say that any guy on the street would know who Jesse is, or is this actually the level of the reputation now? And you kind of think about the band at the beginning, and you're like, well, actually, yeah, people across the border are now going, hey, who's fucking Heisenberg? Who's Heisenberg's second-hand man on the ground in Albuquerque? In the ABQ, motherfucking Jesse Pinkman. That's who. No, I'm just kidding. But no, there's something I was kind of like, I don't know about this. It's like, this seems a little bit like some guy on the street was like, your name's Jesse Pinkman. You have a B positive blood type. Your parents are Judah. And I was like, okay, come on, dude. But if their reputation is that big and I guess heading towards south of the border, I guess it's believable, Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I didn't really rub up against it only because like we've seen like montages of Jesse going around like outside, like to different random
if
places.
Given the chance, I will rub up against anything, though. That's been proven.
Yes. Including, but not limited to, Jane.
Yes, right? Of course. Absolutely. Yes. We can go to a nice hot topic. Maybe hit up a Red Lobster.
She'll love it. No, Red Lobster's too bright. Where else can we go?
We have to go to probably what kind of restaurants do we both have? Let's say an Outback just to keep the lights dark. And, we go home and watch The Crow or The Craft. Either one of those movies she definitely loves.
No, she's definitely The Crow. It's definitely more The Crow, like something really dark and something that you can't. Okay. Maybe she'll like that Game of Thrones episode that you can't see anything in. Like it's just like really dark.
she goes home and just watches like A Clockwork Orange every day.
Right.
It's like A Clockwork Orange followed by Jacob's Ladder, followed by Requiem for a Dream. You're like, Jesus.
Oh my god. Oh jeez. Followed by Train Spotting, like just something like absolutely fucking.
Yeah, there you go. Those are like the four horsemen of just like fucking kill me now, like exactly. Apocalypse.
A scene that I did miss, thank you for picking up on this, Colin, is Trejo, right?
Yeah.
Trejo's intro. So Hank's joining his fellow El Paso agents with his informant Tortuga. The Sky Mall. Give me the Sky Mall, would you? And like, this is Danny Trejo. We know that Danny Trejo's a fucking amazing actor, dude. Like, he's been in and out of jail. He is, he is I'm not going to say method actor, but he's been in this shit, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
I think there's something interesting too about like I think Danny Trejo plays the same guy in a lot of movies. From Dusk Till Dawn, Machete. He plays this similar guy, but this is almost like it's a little different because he's like, what Tortuga means? He's like, I gotta take my time, and I was like, that's cool, I like that, but he's not just like it's not like you ever watch King of the Hill? You ever seen that?
Bits and pieces.
Well, he plays Octavio in like the second season on, but he's like, at first you're like, is that Danny Trejo? And he kind of, it's a comedic bit, he does like a semi different kind of voice. But yeah, there's something about this that I was like, this is kind of nuts. See, like Danny Trejo in like a robe, smoking a cigar, like looking at a Sears catalog. And I was like, that's cool. And like his delivery and stuff was it was different from a lot of his stuff that I've seen. It's not like Daniel Day-Lewis level shit, but I was like, but it's a little bit different that I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with those kinds of actors who really kind of like get typecast into roles that, like, I mean, think about Heat, right? Like Heat, he's that kind of like intimidating, crew member. Mm-hmm. And he plays that a lot. Like he's really intimidating, but like here, he's that, sit back, relax. My name is Tortuga. I take my time. Because he's got the information that they need, right? Like he's sitting on it. He knows exactly mm-hmm. what they want, but he's going to like draw this out as long as possible until they get him what he wants via the Sky Mall, right? And like this doesn't sit right with Hank. This is not Hank's kind of like method or like his way of his modus operandi. He's like, mm-hmm. dude, give me the fucking shit immediately, like and like this doesn't go down well with his co-workers who have built a relationship with this informant, right? I mean, like, because if we lose this informant, then we potentially lose future information that this informant could have given us. So it's all about relationships and establishing a relationship. And Hank, I don't know if Hank understands that yet here. Like, like he's very impatient here with Tortuga. What do you think about this?
Well, yeah, and it's like, man, the money that you will get from busting these cartel guys, once it eventually goes down, will dwarf anything bought out of the Sky Mall catalog. Like there's so much shit you're going to confiscate, and you'll make so much money off of auctioning off their cars and shit. It's like these are small potatoes. So you got to break an egg to make an omelet. I just don't think that. Again, this comes back to this mentality of just like, I'm going to ride through town and put a bullet in every man, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes you got to kind of play with the bad guys to catch the worst guys,
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about cooperation. So it's interesting that we talked about that scene, because the next scene we're going to talk about is Hank and his crew on the stakeout. His co-workers are talking behind his back in Spanish. Hank spots something off in the distance, thinking that it's the full-body Tortuga, until he focuses in and it's just his decapitated head. What? Okay, before we get to them moving in and examining it closer, what did you think about this whole kind of like thing, dude? Like his head just crawling along the sand like that.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. It's definitely a really cool kill. Just the fact it being on a turtle is just that. God, it's so great. I had seen this before. But the thing is, I had forgotten all about it until that turtle rocked up. And I was like, oh, this is the guy on the turtle, And a friend of mine that was watching it explained this scene to me. And then halfway through it, he was just like, fuck it, let's just watch it. This is like 10 years ago. And yeah, it absolutely blew my mind. And I was like, blew my mind. But I was like, that's fucking really cool. It's a very interesting death, but it also has a hardcore Seven vibe, being out in the desert, the cops, a head, thrown in the mix there.
He's seen Seven once and he thinks he's a fucking expert. Look at him.
Right. I thought you were talking about the guy who cut his head off. And like, man, he's been watching this fucking David Fincher movie, dude. It's fucking weird. Like, something.
Hey, I'm the new John Doe.
Right, yeah.
I'm Juan Doe.
Yeah, Juan Doe. But that was what I was thinking, is like, it's definitely got like a Seven vibe. I kind of wish it'd cut to like Hank and then the other officers and then cut to Morgan Freeman, like in a reaction shot, or something. Just kind of sneak him in there.
Right. Absolutely. No, I think this is an absolutely kind of standout scene in terms of like, because let's think about Breaking Bad. We don't get many action sequences, like we don't get explosions quite a lot. Right. We did get that big one in Tuco's kind of like hideout, but we don't get this too often. So when they do happen, and when they happen in such a spectacular way, especially here, it's just like, holy shit, dude. Like, I remember the image of I always remembered that guy mid-sentence, hey, welcome to Juarez, and then boom, explosion. The agents go flying, federales go flying, and Hank is just, it's shot like a war film. Like, he approaches it, it's all shaky camera, and this is something that I love because it's, it's Hank. Before the explosion, he's freaking out, he's hyperventilating about the whole situation, right? Because this is completely new to him. But then afterwards, dude, after the explosion, there is no hesitation. He springs into action, makes a tourniquet for that poor bastard who's lost his leg. And, there's no, you can rely on Hank to be there for you once shit goes down. He'll freak out, in that first instance. But once he gets acclimated, once he gets in the shit, you can trust him.
Right. This is not the Hank Schrader at a junkyard, like, hey, let me take a picture with these guys, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like we kind of started to get that when he threw Tuco's grill into the river, So I or whatever body of water that was. But there's something interesting about that where like he was kind of cashing his chips out even at a lower level, and now he's ascending and is still trying to cash chips out and be like, I don't really want to do this, So there's something interesting. I'm really interested in what they'll do with Hank, because it seems like he's having like a crisis of conscience, to maybe not what he's doing, but how he has been doing it. And the fact that as he's getting older, the more times he goes out on the field, it's like a dice roll, the more likely you're not going to come back at some point.
This is, without spoiling it, this is absolutely a turning point for Hank, for his character. Like,
makes sense.
He'll take this going forward. This changes him going throughout the show. Absolutely.
Okay.
So Jesse's hyping up his boys. He says they're going to own this city. Gets back to Walt, who just straight up says, we're not charging enough. We're not charging enough. Corner the market and then raise the price. Simple economics. This is, again, it makes sense, but also, like you said, right? This is like the 1980s Gordon Gekko thing. Greed is good.
Right. Well, and it's at a time of, I think that Walt has just given both of them way too much credit. We're like, yes, your product is insane. You know, you are like the Frank Lucas of meth right now. But at the same time, there's no reason to, to run your machine all pistons going at once. You know, you can operate at half capacity and get done what you need to get done. I think that at this point, you know, are they still considering his cancer to be like terminal, or is it kind of like halted?
It's in remission.
They said
remission.
Okay, gotcha. So now it's no longer a thing of like, I'm afraid I'm going to die and I just want to live my life and do something crazy before I die. That element's not really there anymore. It's gone into remission. So things were looking better. You have an out. You don't have to be this guy. You are choosing to be this guy. I think that whenever it comes to those decisions, what I'm noticing about the show is that Walt repeatedly chooses the morally incorrect thing. You know, like there's usually something that Walt, you know, this is a guy who just felt terrible about choking, you know, Crazy 8, and now he's like, get it done, you know, just gives a gun to somebody. Yeah, but then he flip-flops right afterwards. It's like, there's no way I could work with Walter, just because it was like, you cannot make up your fucking mind and stick to it, man. You know, so I think that, yeah, him kind of, again, overreaching. And then it's one thing to reach over and grab my tit, but then don't squeeze it that hard. You know, he's squeezing these titties real hard, and I can't take it anymore. I'm lactating. Got the baby. Baby came home from the hospital the other day, keeping me up all fucking night. I'm lactating from my tits.
Well,
what am I going to do?
At least you breastfeed and don't feed that thing formula. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. What the fuck is wrong with formula? Where did that come from? Like you have some kind of weird thing against.
I don't know, man. My girlfriend's sister is expecting, and like she was talking about like how her sister and her fiance are just like arguing about like formula versus natural. And I'm just like, it's just stuck in my head.
No, I was gonna laugh if it's like they say if you give your baby formula, it turns out black, and he's like, "What?" You're like, "What the fuck, dude? I'm fine."
I mean, clearly, like I know what my motherfucker did.
There you go. I'm white as shit. I know what I drank.
Oh shit,
redheaded.
Jesus Christ,
that's how much milk I drank. I'm fucking redheaded now. It's good shit. Because I said it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's fine because you said it. It's okay because you said it.
I'm funny. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, you know, speaking of which, you know, this might be a good time to bring up the fact that we have a new Patreon, and I want to.
Oh, cool.
I just want to shout out
patron.
Yeah, patron. Sorry, we have a new patron. Thank you so much to Jackie for signing up, and I only want to mention on this episode because she specifically sent us a message saying, loving the Bad Crystal podcast, eager for it to continue. So,
hell yeah. Thank you
so much, Jackie. Really appreciate it, man. Like, I was like, you're like, God, I'm funny. And I'm just like, well, here's something to make you unsubscribe. Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, but sorry, I'm turning into Walt over here. No, thank you though. That's really very flattering. I love getting feedback on stuff, and especially this is very new for me. I'm not used to doing a television podcast, doing a movie one for almost 3 years now. So just starting this, anytime we get any kind of feedback that people are enjoying this, I'm very nervous about shit that I do when I haven't been doing it that long. So, to kind of, even though it's podcasting, it's still different though. And I feel like I'm constantly in the dark, because I can only take this one episode at a time. But it's been fun so far. And I hope that you're enjoying it. Thank you for signing up for our Patreon.
Yeah, absolutely, Jackie. Thank you so much. So let's wrap this up, right? Skyler thanks Ted for having him back. There's some awkward silences, right? Some clear sexual tension between them. He says that he split up with his wife. He asks her out for lunch, like old times, blah, blah, blah. Like this is, obviously this is not, they might think that it's innocent. The audience absolutely does not think it's innocent. Like it's just presented to you in such a way that it's just like, well, I mean, clearly, they're going to fuck. Right.
Oh, dude, she's the smiling, the eye contact, like everything about this is just like F-U-C-K, F-U-C-K.
She's giving him the fuck me eyes. Yeah, absolutely. So Jesse's set up with his new TV with his 2 chairs, really adorable furniture setup. I love it. Searching for a signal. He goes outside, bonds more with Jane as they smoke cigarettes, admits that his name isn't Jesse Jackson. The guy she met isn't his dad. and he's afraid of being kicked out. Jane takes a very progressive approach to this. It's none of her business what he does. Just don't do it here, right?
I'd love to say your name's not really Al Sharpton. He's like, no.
Jesse asks her inside to watch TV, and if you listen close, I'm not sure if you listen to the sound design. If you listen very closely, as like during the sentence that he asks her to come inside, you can actually hear what sounds like tolling bells in the background, like wedding bells. It's so because I watched it with headphones on, dude. Like this is the first time that I noticed it. I watched it with headphones on, and I was like, wow, that is like the foreshadowing here is intense. Like, you know, it's actually
like a
crazy.
light bulb going off, you know?
Yeah, totally. Hard cut to them sitting in front of the TV, still searching for the signal. Like this is, I love the TV and the wording of searching for signal, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like all of that is just very, it's not metaphorical, but what's the word? Like it's very indicative of what's happening here, right? I mean, like Jane is wanting to make a move. Jesse's wanting to make a move. They're both searching for signals. And like Jesse's really sweet here as he's nervously explaining like the specifications of the TV to Jane, who's just silent. And then in the end, she just grabs his hand, right? And the episode ends.
Yeah, he's talking way too much. She's talking way too little. It's a meet cute, you know, not exactly, but it's just that first kind of moment that we, that we get of any kind of romance in it. So there is something just about it's almost like heart shaped of these two people. It almost looks kind of in a way, just the way it kind of rounds out around them. It looks just this very centered heart shaped kind of shot. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Well, that's this episode. That's episode 7 of season 2, Negro y Azul. Colin, any closing thoughts? Any indications of where the next episode's going to go? Where's your head at?
I really don't have. I mean, I feel like something will happen with Walt. There you go. That's my indication for next episode.
Wow, that's groundbreaking.
You know what I really thought about doing once, just to fuck with you, is to just once watch one episode ahead, and so let's say we record episode 6, but I've seen episode 7. What do you think happens next episode? And just lay out episode 7 and watch you go.
I'm just like,
what? Yeah, your head it's like that scene from Scanners where your head just explodes. Everywhere. No, I think it's interesting. I hope we see more of Jessica Jones and the guy from the Need for Speed movie.
You're never going to relent. You're never going to change it, are you?
No, never. Now I'm just stuck with it. No, I'm interested to kind of see where that goes. Sorry, hold on. I had a burp stuck in my throat. It sounded weird for a second. I think seeing where they go, but also, obviously who doesn't want to see some stuff happen with Walt, but I kind of hope to see a little bit of, I think it's time to spin Walt Jr.'s plate. I think it's time to kick up a little bit of dust there and just kind of see what's going on. Cause he's kind of him and Marie are kind of starting to feel, what is this, episode 7? It hadn't really, really a lot going on with the two of them.
Halfway of this season. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I've enjoyed everything, but I kind of wouldn't mind cutting back to them just so these characters don't feel, we've taken very, very big strides with the characters that we have of this episode. And I think it's important to also not forget about your supporting characters as well. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more, the thing with Maria in the first season. I know a lot of people think that it's just kind of like, why is her, I almost said kidnapping,
kleptomania,
not cross-dressing. Yeah, kleptomania. Seeing that it wasn't really, it didn't really go anywhere, but it's interesting. And I kind of hope to cut back to some stuff like that. Maybe Walt Jr. starts shooting up heroin or I don't know, something. Give me something there. But
maybe it'll calm him down and be less of a dick.
Right? Yeah. No, the Raisin Bread Crunch. But yeah, I hope to see a little bit more, especially with Hank, more so with Jane and Jesse. And those are the two really big ones because I feel like everyone else has taken some huge leaps, in these last couple episodes.
Yep, absolutely, man. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Bad Crystal. We will see you guys next week as we cover episode 8. The title of which I cannot remember right now because I don't have with me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's actually a really fantastic episode because it's called Better Call Saul.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
go watch
baby.
this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you guys next week, guys. Thanks for joining us.